since these quests will only be available on a specific day, and once it passes, it's gone for good. Pathologic and its sequel Pathologic 2 truly excel at atmosphere. While jump scares are a bit few and far between, the overwhelming sense of dread will linger through your entire playthrough, and your time in Pathologic will burrow in your mind for much longer. Phasmophobia came onto the scene like a bat out of hell. 4 players can join up as amateur ghost hunters armed with tools like night vision cameras, holy water, and radios. As an early access game, there are still plenty of technical kinks to work out, but the core premise works exceptionally well. Maybe that's why so many Phasmophobia likes have popped up on Steam in recent months. You'll wander through haunted homes and abandoned prisons, calling out for spirits from the beyond. Gather enough clues, and you can try to successfully identify what kind of ghost is haunting that location. Deduce correctly for a nice payday. As the clock ticks, the chances of running into a ghost increase, and so does the danger. Nothing beats that moment when you suddenly see your friend twist and contort from getting got by one of Phasmophobia's many evil spirits as you all scramble to the exit for a hasty escape.
You know what? Is it smart for us to be locked inside a bathroom altogether?
Chila's Art is the name of an indie dev team formed by 2 brothers in Japan. Since 2018, the duo has released over 15 micro-horror games on Steam, priced at just a couple of dollars.
Ну и сегодня смотрим новую конференцию, это IGN Expo. Вот. Вообще начнется через 40 минут, там просто пока не болтаю, я включил. Вот. Хочу сразу сказать, во-первых, сегодня будет очень много стримов. Это раз. 4 аж стрима будет, потому что будет 4 конференции разные. Сегодня будет IGN, потом Epic Games. Ну, Epic Store, то есть. Потом будет, забыл, как называется, студия, на ней Cuphead покажут. Блин, забыл, из кого вылетел. И еще одна, короче, у них полную жопу. 4 стрима проводить где-то. Вот. Как у вас дела? У меня вроде как ном, а вроде как не ном, я даже не знаю.
No, these aren't forgotten grindhouse films from the 80s, but rather delightfully gory and downright terrifying games created by solo indie horror developer Puppet Combo. Via Patreon and itch.io, there are over 20 games in the past decade, all of which offer no shortage of intense and unforgiving moments. Whether you're escaping from a serial killer while babysitting, taking part in a deadly game of cat and mouse with a psychotic nun in a boarding school,
Что у вас как сегодня денек пошел, напишите, пожалуйста. 4 стрима, да, нравится? Не знаю, что покажут на IGN. У нас стримчик у них вроде как и будет идти недолгий, то есть что-то около часа. К сожалению, вчера нас наебали насчет Sonic Frontiers, но нам сказали, что его заранее якобы отменили, но я ничего такого не слышал.
When Konami canceled Silent Hills in 2015, a slew of spiritual successors and games heavily influenced by the Silent Hills playable teaser came out. This includes Sad Square Studios' first game, the psychological horror Visage. Set in the 1980s, you play as Dwayne Anderson, resident of a large home that is being tormented by the supernatural, as he tries to find a way out of the house and learn more about what's causing all the paranormal activity in his home.
Почему?
As you explore the mostly dark and quiet house, supernatural entities will taunt you by breaking light bulbs, turning on and off lights, and slamming doors.
Так. Ну да, сегодня тоже будет насыщенный день. Да и, честно говоря, завтра тоже будет, в принципе. Завтра у нас, по-моему, тоже будет 4 стрима, потому что мы эти ебучие конференции, которые не дают нормально ни спать, ничего. Сегодня вообще Netflix будет Sonic Prime показывать, но я не особо хочу смотреть. У меня на улице вначале жалко, а вечером жопа.
Those are IGN's top 4 PC games. Disagree with the ranking? Think another entry should have been on the list? And if you're looking for more, check out our list of the top 10 Metroidvanias and the best FPS campaigns of all time.
Да, 4 стрима. Ну вообще по факту 5, потому что сегодня был еще ночью стрим, где более Digital. Он был недолгий. Так. Сама конфа будет 18 по стакат.
If you're going to steal from the best. That certainly seems to be the approach taken by Clear Sky Games, the team behind Misplaced. They've jimmied the lock on the Legend of Zelda's treasure chest and made off with its prized possessions. This 2D action adventure doesn't just ape the ultra-adorable aesthetic of 2019's Link's Awakening remake, it also features many of the signature hallmarks of Zelda's classic series, from the heart-based health system down to the abundance of long grass to slash through. Yet while Misplaced might not be particularly original, its familiar formula certainly has the potential to please a crowd, which is why it's a Road Jam selection in the Audience Choice category. Let's see what got the game into the competition and why its developers might emerge from the Road Jam dungeon 50,000 rupees richer. Not a lot is known about the broader narrative of Misplaced, but the basic setup seems to have been torn straight out of a Hyrule history book. An impish and conspicuously left-handed hero arrives in a foreign land that's presently under threat from a mysterious evil, and only he can summon the courage and the ever-expanding inventory screen full of tools required to defeat it. Along the way, there'll be no shortage of fetch quests to complete, dungeons to puzzle through, and countless clay pots to needlessly destroy. Though, at least in this hour-long early build of the game, there's a disappointing lack of chickens to harass. There are, however, a nice variety of environments to explore, from wandering through the sun-kissed crops of the Token tiny village to slowly creeping by torchlight through dark woods shrouded in fog. As was the case with the Link's Awakening remake, almost every element of the world looks as though it was carefully constructed out of plastic pieces that tumbled out of toy boxes. It's certainly easy on the eyes, although the name for its people and places currently lack a bit of personality. For example, one of the first characters you meet is an old man called...
Сейчас звук еще включим. Так, как потом так? Блять, не то, ребята. Все, в жопу, короче. Звук врубай обратно. Что там в чате происходит? И так не увидел. Соник может... Так аж из окна Соник ушел с конференции. Я не знаю. Ну, сегодня его точно будет уже интервью. Но я не знаю, как мы его посмотрим. После вчерашнего как-то особо смотреть этого Соника не особо охота. Это так типа реклама, если что, то, что выйдет на заднем фоне, то есть это реклама. Так что все нормально. Завтра мне работать не надо, поэтому я могу сегодня спокойно напиться, нажраться и вместе с вами стримить. А завтра, кстати, да, завтра тоже будут у нас вроде как 4 стрима, то есть просто какие-то насыщенные дни идут. Я не знаю, как это еще описать. Ой. Напоминаю, сегодня будет 4 конфы. Именно я уже в телеграме-канал, если вы на подписаны, оповестил, что сегодня у нас такой большой стрим-марафон с 18:00 по московскому времени и где-то чуть ли не до нуля, то есть чуть не до ночи будет сегодня стримить, то есть так жестко. Ну, я, как говорится, ради этого готов.
E3 press conferences
Чтобы
are
всех вас
designed to do
обнять.
one thing, make fans of video games get so hyped they jump out of their seats clapping and cheering. However, not all E3 press conferences are created equally. Some are tedious and padded, while others are just laughably awkward.
Если завтра
Great
получится,
ones,
мы
well,
завтра
they go down in
хочу
history as some of
сделать.
the most awesome
Мне завтра
moments
надо
in our
еще
industry.
стирать,
Here
будет
are the
надо
top
тот,
10
кстати,
best
купить
E3 press
будет.
conferences
Ну,
of all
потому
time.
что
Get
у нас же уже 7 День Победы будет.
Ubisoft press conferences are not exactly known for being tonally consistent. They often whiplash between 40-person live musical numbers celebrating the Just Dance franchise and dry and clinical explanations of how you'll kill various enemies in the division. But every now and then, some truly magical moments happen. In 2017, Ubisoft shocked fans with a stunning demo of Beyond Good and Evil 2, along with Far Cry 5, the bold and seemingly more down-to-earth new entry in the series, but it was one moment that stole the show. Ubisoft officially unveiled Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle for Nintendo Switch by bringing legendary game designer Shigeru Miyamoto on
У нас
stage.
в
Miyamoto
Дискорде
was
никого
no
нет
stranger to
сети,
E3 press
прикиньте.
conferences,
Впервые за
but
долгое
what
время в
made this
Дискорде
one so
вижу
special
сети
was the
особо.
game's creative director and gigantic
Нам точно сегодня покажут, уже заявили вот на этой конференции, кто будет через полчаса, покажут игру по чужих, это Aliens Frontiers Elite, по-моему, так называется. Я в нее стримил, как, мне она не очень понравилась. Ну, какие-то эксклюзивные анонсы будут. Что-нибудь покажут. Опять же, я бы не стал завышать сильные ожидания. Например, если на самом Геймфесте там понятно, там, то здесь не стоит завышать никаких ожиданий. Это не тот день, где там стоит там прям чи Bethesda 2015 года. Аж 15 год показывает.
Until 2015, when Maryland-based video game studio Bethesda decided to start having their own dedicated annual E3 press conference. Many fans wondered if Bethesda could sustain a full presentation full of game announcements, but those fears were quickly squashed when they brought out some of their biggest guns. Bethesda's 2015 conference had a brand new look at the newly rebooted Doom alongside its release date, followed by the reveal of a Dishonored sequel, but the conference was really about celebrating one of their biggest franchises, Fallout. Fans got to see tons of Fallout 4 and learn that it would be released that November. On top of that, Fallout fans got two more surprises as well. Fallout Shelter, a post-apocalyptic vault simulator that was released on mobile for free right after the conference, and a real-life Pip-Boy set to launch alongside Fallout 4. The latter didn't really work as anticipated, but at that moment, every Fallout
Ну, у них конфа, как я думаю, где-то примерно час, наверное, будет идти. Потом я закончу стрим, потом начнем новый.
Microsoft's 2009 E3 press conference was utterly star-studded with guest presenters from Paul
Ой, как
McCartney and
давно
Ringo
было.
Starr to Tony Hawk, Steven
Кто хотел
Spielberg, Hideo
музыку?
Kojima,
Не знаю,
and
кто
Cliff
хотел,
Booth,
но
just to name a
пускай
few.
будет.
In terms of games, it was equally jam-packed.
Так, кстати,
The event
воспоминания
showcased trailers for
старые.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2,
Я вообще
Crackdown
хотел
2,
сегодня бутерброды
Left 4 Dead
сделать,
2,
но
Splinter Cell Conviction, Final Fantasy
сделаю я
13,
их, не
Shadow
знаю. Мне, кстати,
Complex,
глаз
Alan
болит
Wake,
за
Forza
этим много.
Motorsport 3,
Потому что мы
Metal Gear
сегодня
Rising, Halo 3 ODST,
получил я так
and
удал,
Halo
скажем,
Reach. The
небольшой.
lineup helped to
Не
continue
сильно
to
было, но
solidify the Xbox
вот
360
именно когда
as a
трогаешь
force to be
больно,
reckoned
так
with. It
особенно
also gave
чувствуется.
us the rather awkward Kinect reveal, but the less time we spend remembering those parts, the better. Seriously, just don't remember those parts. Don't even think about them.
Я был что
Considering that
2017
Devolver's
года.
annual E3 booth consists
Мы их
of
смотрели
a
ночью,
workout
можете
held
посмотреть,
on
а
the
стрим из
street
записи.
convention center. No one was
Стрим
quite
идет
sure what
буквально
their idea of a
полчаса.
press conference
Вот,
would be like.
да,
In
сейчас,
addition to
если вы не
revealing
хотите
some
смотреть
new
прямой
indie
эфир,
games,
можете
Devolver's
спокойно
2017
посмотреть его
Live
здесь.
E3 press
Сейчас за
conference was
туалет
an
схожу.
absurdist skewering of every other event on this list. We're used to seeing excessive amounts of blood in E3 demos, but it's a bit of a surprise to see E3 presenters soaked in buckets of it. And let's face it, while E3 press conferences are often filled with incredible moments and huge announcements, they're also sometimes plagued with PowerPoint presentations about user metrics or corporate synergy speak. So having Devolver make an absurdist and surreal parody of them was a breath of fresh air.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we have shown you here today is only the beginning. Tomorrow's unethical business practices today, the future of video games, and the future's future, the future's.
With the PlayStation 4 dominating hardware sales last generation, Microsoft needed an E3 press conference that proved the Xbox One was worth owning as well, and 2015 gave us just that. The Xbox Showcase gave us new looks at Halo 5 Guardians, Forza Motorsport 6, The Division, Rainbow Six Siege, Dark Souls 3, Sea of Thieves, Rare Replay, Fable Legends, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Gears of War 4. It was an awesome lineup of first-party and third-party games, and if that wasn't enough, they also unveiled the brand new Elite controller and announced that a slew of Xbox 360 games were coming to the console via a backwards compatibility initiative. It was a presentation truly focused on games, a much welcome pivot after the Xbox's initial reliance on things like Kinect. Sony's E3 2015 was all about making dreams come true, and not just because they showed Dreams, the ambitious new game-making project from Media Molecule, it was also where they unveiled a trio of games that made fans go absolutely crazy, namely The Last Guardian, Shenmue 3, and a stunning new remake of the classic and iconic JRPG, Final Fantasy VII. This conference was also where Killzone developer Guerrilla Games debuted their awesome-looking new open-world game, Horizon Zero Dawn, featuring lush environments and epic battles against gigantic robot dinosaurs. The PS4 was hitting its stride, and there were tons of great new games to look forward to on the horizon. No pun intended. With the Nintendo Switch already out and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild having cemented itself as one of the greatest launch games in video game history, Nintendo fans wondered what was coming next to the Nintendo Switch, and 2017 gave them answers. We learned about Super Mario Odyssey, Mario's fantastic return to full-fledged 3D platforming, along with big games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, a new Pokemon RPG from Game Freak, and new DLC for Breath of the Wild. The most surprising announcement, though, was the reveal of Metroid Prime 4. Sure, it was only a logo and some sound effects, and 4 years later, it's still just a logo and some sound effects, but right then and there, it was pure joy and Nintendo still cared about the Metroid franchise.
Sony 2016 года. Они так вспоминают, короче, лучшие конференции. Мы сейчас посмотрим, что будет на первом месте. Вот Sony считает, что какая там лучше офигенно была конференция. Здесь Gone, God of War показывали. PlayStation VR, Resident Evil 7, Capcom, Death Stranding, Batman Arkham VR.
Delayed game, The Last Guardian. Finally. As you've definitely seen by now, E3 press conferences are loud, raucous, expensive, and over-the-top stage shows filled with a million moving parts. So it's interesting that one of the craziest E3 moments was seemingly filmed on a phone in a dimly lit room. This 22-second video showed how easy it was to share games on the PS4 compared to Microsoft's approach with Xbox. It was a snarky and hilarious roast of the competition, and it also came with the reveal that Sony was undercutting the cost of the Xbox One by $100. Sure, there were game announcements like Destiny and Final Fantasy 15, but the PS4 price reveal and the quick and funny video on game sharing resonated so much with gamers that they might very well be the reason that the PlayStation 4 went on to win that entire console generation, and the Xbox One
Как вы считаете, какая будет первая конференция? Nintendo 2004 год.
After an incredibly lackluster E3 2003, you know, the one where GBA connectivity and Pac-Man Verse headlined the show, Nintendo's E3 press conference in 2004 for the company, and it delivered like no Nintendo E3 had before. The presentation showcased Metroid Prime Echoes, Resident Evil 4, The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, and the Nintendo DS, a bold new dual-screen handheld designed
Так, еще мяско поедим.
to play touchscreen games on the go. Nintendo also teased their upcoming home console called
Revolution, which will later launch on Nintendo Wii.
Most importantly, though, the company had a powerful new stage presence thanks to the introduction of Reggie Fils-Aimé, a man who instantly went on to become a Nintendo fan favorite for years to come.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names. And we're about making games.
But Nintendo saved the best for last when they revealed The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, a gritty, mature, and tonally dark take on Zelda that made the crowd go absolutely wild with excitement, creating one of, if not the greatest new game reveal moments in E3 history. The reaction even became an incredibly popular meme, which you've probably seen kicking around. The surprise Twilight Princess unveiling brought fans to tears, and it was all capped off with Shigeru Miyamoto taking to the stage holding Link's iconic sword and shield. It was truly what E3 is all about. And those are the best E3 press conferences ever. Well, so far at least, the best E3 moments may be yet to come. So what was your favorite E3 press conference of all time? Which surprising new game reveal or long-awaited sequel announcement made you jump for joy and scream at your screen? Let us know in the comments below, and for all things E3 and video games in general, stick with IGN.
Fireteam of Gaming 2021. Вспоминания. Fireteam of Gaming 2022.
Exploration platformers, or platformer adventures, doesn't quite roll off the tongue like the name for the genre that you probably know, Metroidvanias. Whatever you call it, there's been an incredible collection of Metroidvanias in the last decade, some of which that would even give the forefathers of the genre a run for their money. For this list, we specifically wanted to leave Samus and Alucard out of it, and let the non-Metroids and Castlevanias have some time in the spotlight. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at our picks for the top 10 Metroidvanias that aren't actually a Metroid or Castlevania. But before we get to it, one more quick ground rule. 3D games like Batman Arkham Asylum, Tomb Raider, and to an extent, depending on the definition you use, even the Resident Evil games could technically kind of sort of fall under the genre of Metroidvanias. So, for the purpose of this list, we're keeping things to 2D and 2.5D games exclusively. Like, I know, please don't be mad, Batman. Hitting Xbox Live Arcade back in 2009, Shadow Complex was the right game at the right time to reinvigorate the Metroidvania genre. An excellent blend of sci-fi action with a compelling story, satisfying progression, and its 2.5D perspective offered some of the best graphics that we'd seen in the genre to date. It was a refreshing update to a beloved style of game that, at least in 2009, seemed to have fallen out of favor with developers and the public at large. It would go on to become one of the highest-selling Xbox Live Arcade games of all time, and a remastered version hit PC in 2015 and consoles the next year. Blasphemous introduces you to the sprawling and hauntingly beautiful Svistodia, a 16-bit world teeming with secrets in every corner. Despite its beauty, it is also a world overrun by truly horrific and difficult bosses blocking your path. And to make matters more trying, and ultimately more rewarding, Blasphemous tantalizes players with items and upgrades often dangling just out of reach. These are almost always accompanied by an inactive piece of the environment that becomes instantly recognizable, goading you into a search for a way to find bundles of roots into bridges, or blood trails into platforms. The quest to uncover these environment-transforming relics are almost as enthralling as progressing through the main story of Blasphemous, ensuring that you'll rarely want to leave any stone unturned as you explore one of the most memorable lands in the genre. Much like how olive oil and ice cream are somehow a bizarrely complementary duo, Yoku's Island Express combines two wildly different flavors of game to create something totally unique that leaves us yearning for more after its delightful adventure. Yoku takes the complexity of a Metroidvania and applies it to the rigid structure of pinball. It forces players to rethink everything they know about platforming, with movement being a combo of familiar 2D navigation and pinball flourishes, like paddles that send you flying around on your collectible quest. It makes that surprising mix work like a charm while simultaneously drip-feeding teases of upgrades to come through inaccessible areas that whiz by while you're rocketing off a bumper. The cherry on top of this strange concoction of unusual genres is the setup. You are the brand new mailbug of a small tropical island, and primarily, you're there to deliver mail. The hand-painted art style, witty writing, and cheerful tunes keep you smiling, all while pulling off careful skill shots to progress through Yoku's unexpected but memorable world. Cave Story was created by a single developer, Daisuke Pixel Amaya. That in and of itself is worth bringing up only because Cave Story is a massive achievement, with a sprawling world, fleshed out lore, and beloved characters. From unique weapons to an overworld that's filled to the brim with creativity, every part of Cave Story feels lovingly handcrafted. But don't let that cuddly cast fool you. Cave Story will break your heart and mend it back together by
целая пачка есть всякой
decades
сладости.
later, and Cave Story still
Ну,
feels
всякие
like a
коробочки
treasure.
всякие
And as
эти, то
one of
есть,
the
что
most
вам,
famous
что нравится
horror
людям.
games, it's easy to download and play today.
А еще у меня
And
вот
at an
вино
unbeatable price
есть.
to play a piece of gaming
Не
history.
знаю, видно, не видно, но виношко. Ну, я его выпил немножко уже. Половину практически.
It's no
Запах от
wonder
него,
fans have
ебать,
been waiting so excitedly
сумасшедший.
for Axiom Verge 2, given how expertly Axiom Verge serves as a love letter to
Можно прям вот так
Metroidvanias of the
сделать
past.
и
The
прям в
one-man
обнимку.
designed adventure from developer Thomas Happ provides players with an inventive arsenal of weapons and abilities. But this throwback never feels dated as you drill, teleport, and pixel nuke throughout your adventure on the alien world of Sudra. Combine that with a fantastic sense of progression that makes backtracking and uncovering new areas a consistent joy, and an intriguing and mysterious plot that will keep you guessing, and Axiom Verge is easily one of the best Metroidvanias around.
Вкусно,
It may
только
be inspired by
кисленько.
games released years prior, but it can still sit among the best of that or any era. SteamWorld Dig 2 isn't the only Metroidvania on this list that sends you exploring underground, but it is the one that requires you to dig your way through its sprawling world. That digging gameplay loop is by no means a chore though. It's a total blast. Bore as far down as you can, return to town to harvest your resources, upgrade your gear, and you're off to happily do it all again. It's so satisfying that it's easy to fall into the mindset of just one more run, turning into 4 or 5. And with that 10-hour runtime, it never outstays its welcome. Upgrades are plentiful enough
Мне,
to be a
кстати,
near
надо будет
constant
вечером,
reward system, and the various
часов
upgrade
10-11
cabinets allow
мусор
for some
вот
welcome
выкинуть, потому
customization
что у
in
нас
how you build out
лагается,
your
ну то есть
robotic
там
hero.
нельзя кое-что
It
выкидывать,
also helps
или
set the
будет
finely
полная
tuned
жопа.
controls, make
Поэтому я
maneuvering
поздно
around its
вечером
caverns
выкину.
as smooth and as enjoyable as the act of actually mining.
Вот.
Not mining
Но это
in
самая
real-life
такая
God,
главная
that
цель.
sounds
А так
exhausting.
сегодня выходной, все
Anything
расслабляются,
mining. Added some
расслабляемся,
optional
надеюсь, у вас все
puzzle rooms that
хорошо.
reward you with
А
bonus
через
upgrade
16
items,
минут
and
будем
SteamWorld
смотреть,
2
что там
is a
покажут,
deep
что не
down
покажут.
Metroidvania you won't want to put down.
Вот.
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is the closest we come to cheating the no Castlevania rule, but it's too good of an experience to ignore. Koji Igarashi, a father of the genre, set out to make a new game in the vein of the best-loved Castlevania, and by Dracula, he did it. This Kickstarter success story takes
Думаю, играть мы
elements from
сегодня
all
ничего не
the great
будем, на улице
Castlevania
жалко,
games
ребята,
and
просто
combines them
жопа.
into one neatly
Я
tied
окошко
together
открою не
package.
полностью, потому что
It uses the equipment system from Symphony of the Night, the shard system that lets you assume magical abilities of enemies a la Dawn of Sorrow, and more. Add on top of that the option to play a completely different character after completing it, tons of hidden content, and a slew of other intriguing inclusions. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night taps into that special late 90s, early 2000 era of Castlevania that is beloved by so many to create something thrilling in its own right.
Кстати, как вам Самиал Геймфест 2022? Как по мне, было довольно неплохо.
Up nearly every aspect of the original, expanding on what worked with new skills, a new, ludicrous, and meta story, and one damn charming Metroidvania from beginning to end. At the heart of what makes Guacamelee 2 so clever is its combination of level design and its platforming fundamentals. Eventually, all of your actions, from uppercuts that boost you upward to sideways lunges, work twofold. The combination of right attacks against certain enemies is essential to racking up combos and surviving combat sections, but all of those moves are also necessary to pull off the increasingly complex platforming sections. And while you're exploring Guacamelee 2's world, uncovering more of its map as either Juan the Luchador or Juan the Chicken, don't ignore the optional side challenges you'll come across. They're some of Guacamelee 2's most difficult but purest platforming sections, and they're some of the most rewarding to pull off. Throw in a new hookshot ability, unlockable skill trees that encourage you to explore more of its wonderful, vibrant world, and some genuinely hilarious stories, and Guacamelee 2 may have you crying in laughter as much as it may make you tear up from its most challenging levels. Either Ori game could have comfortably landed on this list, but the sequel, Will of the Wisps, takes an already stunning game and makes it even more robust. No other series looks or sounds quite like Ori does, with a gorgeous world full of vibrant landscapes and strange creatures complemented by some of the best game music around. Flowing through those areas with its diverse suite of movement abilities can almost become a Zen practice, hopping between grab points and whipping dangerously close to death as you do. Will of the Wisps elevates all the aspects that made the first game great as well, partly by borrowing some ideas from the #1 game on this list. The introduction of equipable items to enhance your preferred playstyle, and an adorable little town for you to grow, full of friendly faces, adds more layer and nuance to the world, and your character. Its combat is also more fleshed out, coupled with a story even more grand and ambitious than the originals. Ori sticks out from what most people usually picture when they think of Metroidvanias, thanks to its warm, inviting look. But it's that unique take on a well-explored genre that makes it stand so tall above the rest. Well, except for one. Even when compared against actual Castlevania and Metroid games, Hollow Knight would still probably be pretty close to the top of a list. It's a Metroidvania that takes influence and inspiration from plenty of clear places, but combines those concepts with countless fresh ideas of its own to make something truly incredible. And it's the combination of all of those individual parts that makes the whole so much more impressive. Its charming hand-drawn art style, its haunting soundtrack, its flexible combat systems, its satisfying movement mechanics, and the mysterious catacombs, the list goes on, as all those aspects and more are packed in to work in beautiful tandem. Hollow Knight is filled to the brim with interesting decisions to make the whole way through, too. From choosing to go left or right first, to deciding whether or not to challenge the imposing optional boss, or to figuring out which of the many charms you should use to modify your playstyle. As a result, its exploration and unlocks feel personal, providing a natural sense of progression to its meticulously laid out halls. And don't let the appearance of its tiny bugs fool you. Hollow Knight's world is a sprawling subterranean maze that gives you plenty of paths to chase down and creative enemies to fight to keep you exploring for dozens of hours. Hollow Knight is without a doubt a modern classic. And that's our list. What are some of your favorite Metroidvanias? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and while you're here, why not take a look at some of our other top 10s, like the top 10 Souls-likes or the top 10 Mario levels. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.
Не знаю, сможем мы на релизе поиграть 16 июня. Ну, хер знает. Который черепашки ниндзя Shredder Revenge. IGN.
Sonic's done a lot in 30 years. He's been a pioneer of the high-speed 2D platformer, an Olympic athlete, a respectable kart racing enthusiast, a fighter, a TV star, and a Hollywood blockbuster movie star as well. But he's never done open world, and Sonic Frontiers fixes to change that. I was fortunate enough to be one of the first people outside of Sonic Team to go hands-on with Sonic Frontiers, and let me just say, if you're worried about how the
которого мы уже видели 150 тысяч раз.
I think Crush 40 probably put it best. Open your heart, it's gonna be alright. The first thing that struck me about Sonic Frontiers was how uniquely somber and serene it was right from the outset. After flying into a wormhole with Tails and Amy, Sonic finds himself separated from his friends and all alone on an isolated island, with nothing but an AI voice guiding him to collect the Chaos Emeralds. There's no one for Sonic to bounce quips off of, no energetic Crush 40 soundtrack, just wide open fields as far as the eye can see. There's an air of mystery in Sonic Frontiers, and it's a vibe that's driven home even further by the beautiful yet
Так, что там? 9 минут еще, 9 минут мы что-то должны будем с вами делать. Какое мыло было сейчас, это пипец. Вот это, ну что это такое? Я просто не могу смотреть на эту игру, не оглядываясь на ее многие проблемы.
I asked Sonic Team head Takashi Izuka to describe how the tone of Sonic Frontiers differs from previous Sonic games, and he said, past games in the Sonic series have taken different tones depending on their stories and themes. This time, these mysterious islands are the game's major setting. That's why our artists have worked hard to create a mysterious mood. Of course, the big new change in Sonic Frontiers is the shift from purely linear levels to a huge open world where Sonic can freely run in any direction. But Sonic Team doesn't like to use the term open world to describe Sonic Frontiers' gameplay, instead referring to its style as being open zone. Open world games like Zelda or other AAA games fundamentally have RPG or adventure worlds. For Sonic, the core here is a 3D action game. Our basic idea was to have that take place in open space. What sets Sonic Frontiers apart is this different approach to an open game world. Having played Sonic Frontiers for about 4 hours, it's easy to see what Izuka-san means. Sonic Frontiers' open zone design is very different from any other open world I've played. It's a giant playground. Every few feet there's a bumper spring that bounces you like a pinball between 5 other bumpers before putting you on one of the many grindable rail tracks. Or a speed ramp that sets you on a completely different path leading to some other collectible or reward. Or a line of rings that you can lightspeed dash into. Essentially, they've taken that core appeal of every Sonic level having multiple paths that eventually loop back around to the main one and applied that to these giant non-linear open zones. One thing that has to be noted is that very few of these elements are built into the environmental design, meaning that rails, platforms, boost rings, and so on are just inexplicably floating in the air all around, which isn't totally unusual for a Sonic game, but it feels especially jarring in Frontiers in particular because of the frequent and sudden pop-in of these objects and the otherwise very naturalistic art style. Of course, it's worth emphasizing that this gameplay and the version that I played were from an early build, but this is definitely an area that I would hope to see improvement in the final version. Beyond that, there are also a wide variety of puzzles and challenges that are littered throughout the zone, and completing them is how you uncover sections of your map. Most of these are very simple, requiring you to orient a statue the correct way, quickly hop back and forth between colored tiles, or use Sonic's new side loop ability to draw circles around certain objects in the environment to interact with them. The best ones though are the races against the clock where you have to get from point A to point B in a limited amount of time. The openness of Frontiers level design makes straightforward races like these a ton of fun, because you have to try and improvise a path to the end that might not be immediately obvious. There are some exceptions, but combat in traditional Sonic games generally isn't a thing that goes much deeper than jumping, rolling, or using a homing attack into enemies at the right time. That changes in Sonic Frontiers.
Да ёбаный был.
Which now has you fighting all sorts of wandering enemies and mini-bosses using an all-new array of incredibly flashy attacks. It's not all style and no substance.
Откуда подванкивание идут, ёбаный в рот? Все говорится, так скул. Че, все, залагало к ёбаной матери. Вот тебе и КГЦ посмотрели, да? Не, все нормально, все нормально. Должно быть. Я в это верю. Тем более сейчас уже начнется совсем скоро. Да закипал, блядь.
Is a resounding absolutely. Thanks for watching and tune into IGN for more.
Да что ты, сука, каждый раз будешь так накидывать.
Sonic Frontiers coverage as part of IGN First. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.
Эти лагает. Вот пидораска. Перестань лагать. Будь добрей ко мне. Лагает. Лагает.
Using a ramp and also the dual wheels in the front, he can land pretty safely.
Может, ты заебал.
You can choose from over 200 career
Перестань, сука.
paths that match your passion on GoArmy.com.
Всё,
What's
надоело
your
нахуй.
warrior? Death Stranding director's cut.
Лагает, 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 лагает. Это что
It is
такое?
available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. For more on Death Stranding, keep it here on IGN.
Что за бред? Почему так все хуёво?
The data transfer rate of PCIe 3.0 SATA SSDs, making for a whole new user experience. The load games faster and more reliably, the Samsung SSD 980 Pro partners of IGN Summer of Gaming.
Ну все, сейчас начинается, а у меня лагает, сука. Все хорош, блядь. Заебало.
Corpse was definitely a xenomorph, slain in combat.
Лагает, 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 лагает. Так, ладно, попробуем YouTube. Может, в YouTube нормально? Что у меня их не Twitch прям сильно-сильно. Хуёво стал. Блять, ребята. Димон, ты дебил. Давай здесь посмотрим. Здесь хуй его знает. Так, сразу чужих начинает. И, сука, тоже что-то лагает, да, господи. Ай, ужас какой. Новые дополнения. Выйдет непонятно когда.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to IGN's Summer of Gaming Expo. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Nars.
Thank you so much, Damon. All month long, IGN is giving you a front row seat for the biggest gaming events and whatever is going on in games, whether that's IGN.com, Twitch, YouTube, the IGN One app on your smart TV, and now you can even watch us on Steam.
Говорят,
We
что
just
IGN
kicked
можно
things off with a
посмотреть.
brand new world premiere trailer for the upcoming Aliens Fireteam Elite Pathogen expansion. If you like that, stick around because we'll be closing out the show with a developer interview, giving you a closer look at what's in store for those Colonial Marines. I have a sneaking suspicion it involves more xenomorphs.
We've got a ton of stuff to show you in the IGN Expo, so let's get right into it.
Summer of Gaming. Экстра трейлер. А, это я знаю игру. Офигенная игра должна быть, ребята. Она вроде в следующем году выходит. Я знаю эту игру. Я ее не раз видел. Это такой типа аниме. По геймплею она вообще охуенная была. На нахуй. О. Вот бы дату выхода сказали. Блять. Блять. Сука. Ну чему лагать-то, блядь, да что такое? Не должно лагать. Особенно сейчас, блядь. Он просто так начал. Пусть. Let's go. Уже в этом году. Отлично. Экстра отвалил. Гилсы. Можно хотя бы 720p. Рука может. Не знаю, это дуртигил. Сразу видно по стилю. Онлайн мод. Туториалы будут такие разные. А, он стал реалистичным. Что? А, нет, не гил, прикиньте. Обманул я вас. Игра про зайка. Тоже что-то японское. Да, что-то японское. Ну, прям сразу понятно. Так, у меня это наушники, блядь, запутались. Жалко, пиздец, ребята. Так, спотеваю. У меня окошко открыто. Ну вы его не видите, но оно открыто полностью. И мне жалко. Let's go. 30 июня выходит, кстати, на Nintendo Switch эксклюзив какой-то. Arm System Works, кстати, делают ее. Я знаю эту контору. Arm System Works, да. Эксклюзивный трейлер.
Wait. Are you seriously going to ignore the real star of the show? You know, me? Sorry, the Grim Reaper, at your service. there any snacks here? No? I'm leaving. Wait, so you're dead? Sweet. Your ancestors are like super laughing at you right now.
Ну, какая загадка.
Stop being a jerk and just subscribe already.
Next up, if you're fond of old school pixel art, like this guy, stay right where you are because we're checking out some trailers for games that keep things looking nice and retro. First up, There Is No Light. Sounds dark. Let's take a look.
Опять эксклюзивный трейлер. В сентябре 2020 года выйдет в Steam, в IGN и GOG. Сколько выйдет в Стиме и какая-то. В сентябре, кстати, тоже выйдет. Вторая игра в сентябре выходит. Опа. Сосать! 22 сентября выйдет она. Ну эту игру я играл уже, ребята. Был буквально по ней недавно.
Only
Ну,
then,
похождение
after
просто
the
играл
echoes of the
с
crowd's applause have faded into silence, can music begin anew. Got to keep moving.
Being a bishop ain't easy. It takes a toll in ways you can't imagine.
I go now to a better world. Erebus is part of the journey, but there's more. There are things that the living cannot understand.
I'm leaving, Seth. I'm beginning my final voyage.
Demons. Damn you. Feel Shale's power.
Be there for your brother, Ezekiel. He'll be there for you when the time comes.
Вот этим году выходит игра. В 23-м году она выйдет.
My daughter's spirit trapped within a silver locket by an evil being of the underworld. Now there was only one thing left to do.
What is happening?
The dead are rising.
О, нихуя себе. Че такое? Он в этом году, кстати, выйдет игра. Киньте.
Oh hey, it's you again! This is IGN's Summer of Gaming Expo, and you just saw brand new trailers for There Is No Light and Core Keeper, along with No Place for Bravery, Project Warlock 2, Sacrifier, Rose and Locke, and Verge World. Phew, that was a lot. Hopefully you're brave enough to be left unsupervised for a couple minutes because we need to take a quick break. If anything goes wrong, the emergency numbers are on the fridge. Be good. IGN Summer of Gaming Expo will be right back.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2022 is presented by the US Army. You can choose from over 200 career paths that match your passion on GoArmy.com. What's your warrior? And sponsored by Metro by T-Mobile.
Summer of Gaming.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, Netflix, and Star Wars,
Реклама ебаная.
hard-hitting commentary, and me,
the
host of the Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero film fiasco or anime announcement, I'll be right here covering all the latest in major studio headlines and pop culture news. Make sure to catch the Fix Entertainment wherever you watch IGN.
IGN playlist is all of your games in one place.
Ой, блядь, сколько ваших там каналов, ебаный,
friends. Access guides for what you're playing.
В прошлом году мы смотрели IGN Expo. Он мне намного больше понравился, чем в 2020 году. В этом
It's for
посмотрим.
players, no matter where you play. Tune into IGN 1 for the latest news on your favorite releases, gameplay exclusives, and all the entertainment you can handle. And maybe even some you can't.
Cinefix on IGN 1, your friendly Friday night home for film fanaticism.
You're watching The Weekly Fix, ready to fill you in on anything you may have missed in the world of gaming and entertainment.
О, лысый, блядь. Лысый из Бразерс
Find it all in one
вернулся.
place on IGN 1.
They turned into a network, who knew?
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Summer of Gaming 2022.
Welcome back to IGN's Summer of Gaming Expo. Now, Halloween isn't for a few months, but luckily, horror games are great all year round. So scaredy cats, this is your chance to hide under the blankets. Everyone else, brace yourselves. Let's take a look at some terrifying new games coming soon to consoles and PC.
I'll end up losing my mind.
Что такое? Интересно.
I cannot trust anyone, not even Albert. If you are listening to this, Blue Knees is real. I know I'm not sick. I know I don't have much time left. I can feel it breathing right by me. Sing that fucking song over and over and over and over.
Summer of Gaming. Эксклюзивное трейлер.
Алло.
Это телевидение?
Да, здравствуйте.
Я вино пью.
Это Дмитрий Картавый?
Я вино пью.
А?
Вино пью.
Нихуя балдеж.
Да. Какую-то игру показывают, выйдет в ноябре 2022 от Team 17 в Стиме.
Мы бы хотели пригласить вас на интервью к нам в студию, Дмитрий Картавый.
Завтра.
Вы придете?
Завтра.
Ура! Мы думали, вы нас нахуй пошлете. Нихуя ты там с бутылкой.
Чего? Ча.
По кайфу такой сидит на стриме, обнимается нас.
Мне еще осталось, не знаю, будет видно или нет, но я часть уже выпил. Так, ну не половину, а на меньше. Видно, не видно, там, не знаю.
Видно, видно.
Да.
Чё, как? Отдыхаешь в понедельник? Ау, таракан, сука.
Да.
Круто.
Я отдыхаю и в понедельник, и во вторник, и в среду, и в четверг. Таймер гейминг.
In the deepest caverns beneath the kingdom, where the light of the cruel moon cannot
Спасибо за лайк.
Grey Irma, the fierce warrior and protagonist of Moonscars,
Я за что.
searches for a mystery that will bring her closer to the truth of her world and of herself.
Вчера шоу показывали The Last of Us. Рассказали, что мультиплеер, который они делают, будет сюжет полноценный. То есть это не просто сетевая теперь игра, как они планировали, это будет спин-офф. Притом какими-то своими фишками. И все. Ну вчера, кстати, практически под конец ушел. Там вот The Last of Us рассказали и все.
Эх, стримеры уже играют в эту, в The Quarry.
Да, знаю, ключик надавали. Классная игра, кстати, я посмотрел. Так.
Дорогая, сука?
Очень дорогая. Дорогучая, я бы сказал. Потому что где такие деньги раздобыть? Зато полная русская озвучка есть. А вот новость Dark Pictures до сих пор не анонсировали. Когда ее анонсируют, на какой конференции, неизвестно.
Дорогая только.
Я видел.
И это... Она, интересно, быстро проходит?
Ну, кажется... Нормально. Ну, что поделать, $60, 60 евро она стоит, по-моему.
3К, блядь.
Сейчас все игры будут столько стоить, к сожалению.
Ну и пошли они нахуй.
Хотя, мне кажется, эту игру, в принципе, нормально 3К. Ну, то есть... 3К стоил на релизе. Ну, даже потому что 3500 стоил на релизе. Ну, где-то, да, там трешку стоил на релизе. Даже и до рассвета, и это 3К. А это духовный наследник абсолютно ее. Ой, какое оно кислое. Тогда пьем на этом стриме. Хуёво то, что The Quarry Денува стоит. Даже на пиратке не поиграть.
If you manage to survive that many scary trailers back to back, surely you can brave the wilds of these 3 upcoming survival and crafting games. Here's Void Train.
Build and expand your own train while traveling through the void in solo or online co-op with up to 4 players. Now with a larger variety of islands, enhanced weapon system, new dangers, puzzles, and void creatures.
Сегодня на работе был тяжкий день, сука.
Нет, такой тоже не самый легкий. Но тем не менее, 3 выходных.
Да, бомба.
Потом, после этого, никаких праздников не будет, охуеть, до ноября месяца.
Да.
Ну, будет у нас там день победы, блядь, день строителя будет. Вот. Поэтому в августе он будет. Так что я там еще отдохну какое-то время. Ну и получу это еще, как может быть, премию. Ну, я сомневаюсь, конечно.
Премия это хорошо.
Ну, блять, вряд ли может. Хотя, если 1005 бы начислить, то стать буду видеть хотя бы.
Ну да, конечно.
Господи, какой она кислая. Я не привык к вину, я привык к вину, что он сладкое, это кислое. А Forever, что-то там... Что-то там было, что-то непонятно что. Я лег вчера поздно, в 2:30 лег сегодня. Поэтому я мало выспался. Ну, чтобы поспать, я взял себе вино, купил. И от него, похоже, мне стало хорошо, судя по моим глазам. Дома пиздец жалко, блин. Я аж умираю от жары, блядь. Завтра, блядь, 30 с чем-то градусов тут на улице, это пиздец. Надо завтра срочно, прям срочно вентилятор купить. Или я тут помру нахуй. Еще будут новые черепашки ниндзя 16 июня они выходят. А они будут дешевенькие. Так что хоть у них можно вот поиграть. Правда, там полная жопа, что там кооператив до 6 аж. Это просто пиздец, 6 человек может играть в коопе. Походить одну игру. Ой, этот пидор упал. Вот он. Видите? Этот гандон, вот он. О. Урод упал. Почему?
Mana is the debit card and financial solution made specifically for your lifestyle. It's tailored for people who enjoy gaming, entertainment, and earning rewards. Let's take a closer look at Mana.
Ready to game the system? Meet Mana.
Почему мой Самаха упал?
You achieve. You win.
Его да... Блядь, что-то он как такая рева. Да пхать давай! О, виза карта будет, нихуя себе. IGN-овская, специальная.
Это что, опять конференция какая-то?
Да, IGN показываются эксклюзивные игры какие-то. Разные, то есть. А у нас сегодня еще, знаешь, какие конференции будут? По-моему, 3 штуки. Epic Games. Та конфа, где покажут Cocktail и инди какая-то там будет еще. Конференции будут идти долго-долго. Там и завтра они будут. И в воскресенье, и в понедельник. Бля, в понедельник будет капка ночью. Там Резик 4 будет показывать. Уже заявили. Как... Блядь, неохота просыпаться ночью и смотреть Резик.
Четвертый Резик покажет геймплей?
Нет, до геймплея сказали очень-очень рано. Новый ролик. Геймплей, говорят, покажут не раньше осени аж. Или даже декабря. Короче. Охуеть, как нам еще долго ждать геймплей. Я жду, ну сейчас я больше всего жду, конечно, Xbox. Они будут в воскресенье у нас, во вторник. Вот. На 2 дня что-то делать. Там стопудово будет годнота. Они покупают все студии, значит, должны показать. Да не, вчера конфа была нормальная у этого, летний этот фестиваль Summer Game Fest. Там и показали черепах и колду и из Спартакова, а больше ничего не надо было.
О, китаянка какая-то. Ее трахнуть надо.
Так, ну, я как предлагаю, так как сегодня У нас большой стрим-марафон. Конфы у нас будут чуть не до 0 часов по МСК. Там до нуля будет где-то, да. Поэтому нам сохранить надо будет, да? Что нам за раз выпивать. Я эту крышку, единственную крышку потерял, ну, вот эту пробку. Еще у меня есть виски, но мы их попробуем во вторник, ой, в воскресенье. Вот. Наверное, говорят, они мощные, вот. Мартини есть, но я его не хочу тоже пить, тоже какой-то мощный. Так, я запасся как хочу. Меня вот бесит, вот знаешь, вот смотришь конференцию, и какие-то их ебаная какая-нибудь реклама появляется там. Ну, сука, раздражает меня вот это мелочи ебучие, блять, еще что-то. Меня бесит это. Не люблю такую хуйню. У эпиков, не знаю, правда неправда, говорят, нам покажут Dead Island 2. Просто в эпике выходит эксклюзивно. И говорят, нам покажут Dead Island 2. Правда неправда, хуй знает, посмотрим. В 9 вечера.
Я приду.
Да, ты курицу принеси еще.
Today, Dow Synthetics is launching a new institute.
Dow today introduced the drone.
So we ran a few tests. DNA, retina scan, fingers. Nothing.
This is not like the last time. I have powerful friends now, bitch.
You're not a regular cop. Cops don't wear sneakers.
I do.
She doesn't know, does she? Tell me, what happens when she learns the truth?
Mix it with both hands, unless you have only one.
You feel pain?
Do you? Violent protests continue.
Mistakes are being made. Sometimes it's not up to us.
The latest battle droid.
Observe.
Police. Sometimes they wake you up, you know? With memories of yesterday.
Stone!
Dead policeman, a crashed helicopter, dead fucking androids, no survivors.
Just another day in the office.
Кто-то лайку был, ну вы чё, ребят? Я чё, зря стараюсь стримить. Блок какой-то. Ну вот прикольно, да. Эксклюзивный трейлер.
Welcome to Carnage Corp, where we start you on the path to being a better monster. Just follow these simple steps. Smash, bash, and stomp your way to success. Watch out for falling debris. An accident-free worksite is a happy worksite. Whether it's tanks, battleships, or the latest kaiju defense technology, the smart monster is vigilant with one eye peeled for anything.
Anything.
Clothes make the monster. Be sharp and find your own style. Don't forget to stretch. You don't want to get a cramp out there. Here at Carnage Corporation, we put people first. We reward hard work, ingenuity, and good taste. Congratulations, you're now one step closer to being your beast self.
Выйдет на мета в 2020 году. Именно второй версии. Ой, эту игру я знаю, ребята. Это офигенная игра, кто у меня лагает. Это такой духовный наследник Флотауна. Притом от русских наших разработчиков. Игра уже должна совсем скоро будет выйти. Блять, лагает. Я бы в нее с удовольствием сыграл бы, если бы она меня не тормозила. Но она меня тормозит. Поэтому поиграть я, увы, не могу. Она даже на минимальных настройках тормозит. Демо уже доступно.
Are you ready to be protected?
Бля, да что так лагает-то?
Let me show you what a shock trooper can do.
Тормозит все у меня.
I'm here to finish the mission, no matter what.
Как будто баталая. Такое ощущение. А там много же. 15 тысяч человек, а что там стоит? Сильно лагает. Выйдет скоро, эта игра выйдет на PS4, Switch и Steam. Вот оно как.
You just got a look at Wanted Dead, Block and Load, Blockbuster VR, Trail Out, Hype Squad, and Glitch Busters. Be sure to sign up for Block and Load's closed beta. But there's plenty more of IGN Summer of Gaming Expo where that came from. Up next is a game where you can play until the cows come home because it's a game about cows. Here's Quiet Farm.
Что это такое? Балаково, да, нихуя себе. Ебать. Pre-альфа, кстати, будет у этой игры. Музычка прикольная. Прикольненькая игра, такая интересная. Что это такое?
Astral child, awake. The cosmos is in danger. Heroes may die, but their legends live forever. Build a new world together and keep order amongst the stars. For this, we look to you, our star keepers.
Stalkers, yes.
You just caught trailers for Quiet Farm, Ship of Fools, Gory, Cuddly Carnage, and the world premiere of Star Keepers right here on IGN Summer of Gaming Expo.
If that was too much excitement, relax. This next game looks extremely chill. Here's a look at Coral Island.
Ну они уже 5 минут проводят. Дочка ебаная. Какая-то хуйня. Адик 14.
Hello again. You're watching IGN's Summer of Gaming, and we just checked out Coral Island, Roots of Pacha, Super Zoo Story, and Dinkum.
But right now, let's take a quick break. IGN's Summer of Gaming Expo. We'll be right back after this.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2022 is sponsored by Metro by T-Mobile and by The Terminal List. Watch the action-filled psychological thriller starring Chris Pratt only on Prime Video July 1st.
IGN Playlist is all of your games in one place. You can build your library and discover new games. Create and follow playlists from friends. Access guides for what you're playing. And rate and rank the games you love to share with the world. Available free with your IGN account. It's for players, no matter where you play.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat. Tune into IGN 1 for the latest news on your favorite releases, gameplay exclusives, and all the entertainment you can handle. And maybe even some you can't.
Cinefix,
Yeah.
One, your friendly Friday night home for
Yeah.
You're watching the weekly
Yeah.
fix, ready to fill you in
Чё
on
там
anything
лаешь,
you may
блядь?
have missed in the world of gaming
Yeah.
and entertainment.
Find it all in one place on IGN 1.
Димон, а в этом, в Мёрбиусе, там этот, у него главный враг тоже вампир, да, какой-то будет?
Где?
Ну, фильм Мёрбиус. Морбиус.
А, да.
Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement,
Да!
I'll be right here covering all the latest
Он там еще
major
танцевал, да,
studio
что-то,
headlines
когда
and
ебашил.
pop culture news.
Мгм.
Make sure to catch the Fix
Надо посмотреть
Entertainment wherever
Морбиус.
you watch IGN.
Да, советую.
Да пошел ты нахуй, блядь, пидорас!
Советую посмотреть Морбиуса. Один из худших фильмов этого года. Вот. Я ему вроде поставил 7 баллов из 10.
Return to Enoch in the brand new Outriders World Slayer. Either continue your Outriders save file or jump in fresh with the level 30 boost. Here's a sneak peek of what to expect.
Outriders. Ну, мы уже видели. Анонс там, да, был подкаст какой-то. Outriders 30 июня выйдет. Предзаказ даже доступен.
Welcome back to IGN Summer of Gaming Expo. Up next, a game that combines gritty, hardcore military realism about the horrors of war and adorable rodents. Here's Ratton Reich.
Эксклюзивный трейлер. Игра про мышь, нихуя себе.
Я сегодня поел бургер, картошку фри и наггетсы, и теперь пержу невкусно. Понимаешь, да, блин?
Да. А я сегодня нихуя не делал. Нихуя не делал. Нихуя не делал. При Альфа, кстати, уже скоро выступить будет.
О боже, блять, это что за ебать? Хуетища, нахуй.
Тут вот еще что-то.
Я не понял, где Паша техники баны, нахуй?
Не знаю. Демка в стиме выйдет. В 2020 году какая-то игра выйдет. Что-то ушко у меня чешется. Игра по карточке, игра еще карточная, да. Это вот и танки, и дурак. Но мне очень понравилась игра, вот эта анимешная. Она выйдет в Steam у нас осенью. Мало того, что это, по-моему, первая аниме-игра, которая будет доступна еще русская озвучка полноценная. Охуеть. Вот. От названия буду ее вспомнить и добавить в списки желаемого. Потому что что-то я в аниме не видел, чтобы русская озвучка была полноценная в играх. Так что это, по-моему, даже клево. Август. В августе 2022, что ли?
30 years ago, we thought we had contained the corruption on Earth.
Ваша техника нет. Нет. Я не знаю, где он. Не знаю.
If we don't stop it, humanity will have nowhere to hide. With great power. Well,
если бы я бы знал, я бы сказал. Но я не знаю, где он. Он пропал и пиздец. И я ушел какать просто, понимаете? Так что не надо мне тут говорить. Битэмап какой-то, что ли? Что не очень понятно, кстати. Ой, я бы фаталити написал, если это... Я чуть не очень понимаю. Были одна и та же реклама, одна и та же реклама.
Right here on IGN Summer of Gaming Expo.
And we still have more trailers. Oh look, here comes one now.
Давайте показывайте свой эксклюзивный трейлер. Если я не обосрусь, вы пидорасы. Я должен типа обоссаться. Ваш так сказывает.
Skew, do you mind keeping watch? I need a piss.
Yeah, sure. I'm on the lookout.
Yeah, just look away.
Там в чате у нас
Sure, yeah. I'll
сколько реклам. Реклам много. Подвигает, пытается. Свою эту конференцию. Поэтому здесь очень много всякой рекламы. Я бы сказал, достаточно много.
Look away.
Oh, look away. Sorry, bit mesmerized there. Well, it's interesting, you know. I haven't got one of them. They look very impractical.
No watching.
Who am I going to tell? Yeah, what do you want? I can do trickling stream. I can do waterfall, and I can do rain.
I'll hold it in.
Так, что-то такое другое уже показывает здесь, да, что ли? Вот, например, реклама привлекает, конечно, наверное. Но она меня больше бесит. Кстати, демка доступна выйдет на PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, пока Steam. Даже выйдет в Эпике. Даже в VR выйдет, ёбаный. Вот, видали, как игра практически на всем выходит.
Our ongoing mission to build a self-sustainable, closed ecosystem that'll guarantee humanity's survival into the impossibly far future. The most brilliant scientific minds of our time work to ensure our species can endure our upcoming challenges, whether it's nuclear devastation or the inhospitable surface of a newly settled exoplanet. To the brilliant minds in here, the outside world is but a distant echo of our primitive past. And despite it all, my greatest fear is upon us. Our mightiest achievement has turned on its creators.
Ебать, что за хуйтища. Какой-то шутов непонятный. Пока что. Мне ушко чешется, потому что это очень дома жалко. И уши спотевают. Уже час они стримят. Выйдет на PlayStation и в Steam. Используя движок Unreal Engine 4. Ну там видно, да, по графике хорошо смотрится.
The American illicit drugs market is the biggest in the world.
Там показали материал.
Drug barons control the multi-billion-dollar empire, and Miami is Cocaine City.
Okay, night shift just cleared the building. You've got 60 minutes to log into that cartel terminal and uncover as much of that network as you can.
Новый какой-то мультсериал выйдет.
The biggest of the cartels, Reyes Muertos, uses
Не
the
знал.
World Wide Web
Спасибо
to
за
keep their
информацию.
deadly business open 24/7. The American government has been carrying out the world's biggest anti-drugs operation as Western demand for the drug almost exceeds the supply. Special police squads use intelligence reports and, more often than not, their instincts in their search for cartel smugglers. Despite law enforcement's best efforts, greater things are expected.
Damn it, one of the night shift guys just came back. Looks like he's headed your way. Get out of there. This case is blown. Meet me back at the station.
О, щитарок. Смотрите, какой-то. Кити. Какой-то там охуите. Там, так я уже читал. А что там еще показали? И было кому-нибудь интересное?
Understanding of the phenomenon grows with every day. However, for one individual in our group, the physiological response has been troubling. We have made a path for you. Please.
Мне какая-то непонятная игра выйдет аж в первом квартале 2023 года, ебать. Даже не в 2020 году, а в 2023.
Welcome back. This is the IGN Summer of Gaming Expo, and you just got a look at The Last Worker, Evo Tinction, Vice Undercover, and Lifeless Moon. The expo might be coming to a close, but Summer of Gaming continues
Да,
all
нам говорят
throughout June.
расписание.
We'll be bringing you
Вот
events,
Xbox
announcements,
Bethesda,
and more fun stuff
Freedom
all
Games,
around the
PC
industry.
Gaming Show,
You'll find it
Capcom
all right here
Showcase.
on IGN.
And you can find IGN everywhere.
Типа следите за новостями, все у вас будет чики-пики.
Samsung TV app, and now you can even watch us on our Steam page.
We are winding things down, but we're not done yet. Up next, a brand new multiplayer experience in a beloved universe. Here's The Walking Dead: Last Mile.
Че, все что ли? Сами... World Premiere. Возможно, это последний мутанонс и конец. Чё? От создателей The Walking Dead. Что, блядь? Я что-то не понял прикола. Что такое? Ну, тебе объясните, что это такое? Еще выйдет материал Tekken. Ну Tekken я знаю, кстати, Даша. Я его видел. Он выйдет, по-моему, в этом году, что ли. Видео трейлер его показывали еще, когда война там началась. Еще в марте. Поэтому я видел его. Нихера себе. Махач начался. Привет, кто пришел. Скорее всего, под конец стрима. Survival. Час где-то 10 примерно. The Walking Dead. Новый. Охуеть, новый The Walking Dead будет. С ума сойти.
That was The Walking Dead: The Last Mile right here on IGN's Summer of Gaming Expo.
Только я не понимаю, что это The Walking Dead? Объясните мне.
Here's a quick look at what's still on the way. Coming up very shortly is day 5 of Netflix's Geeked Week, which is focused on games today.
Присоединяйтесь прямо сейчас на Netflix Games, а потом будет Галева коллектив завтра. 4 конференции.
And you definitely won't want to miss the Xbox and Bethesda showcase on Sunday, followed by the PC gaming show.
Че орешь, мудила?
Да там The Walking Dead как-то показали, блядь, я не понял. Новый The Walking Dead показали.
And of course, a huge thank you to everyone watching at home. We'll see you next time.
Все, до свидания. Конец. Инцидент закончился.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2022 is presented by the US Army. You can choose from over 200
Блин, что там за Walking Dead был, ребята, я вообще не понял.
And sponsored by Metro by T-Mobile.
What's up, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and you're about to get your weekly fix. This is the show where we round up all the biggest gaming and entertainment headlines you won't want to miss. Tune into new episodes every Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on IGN1.
IGN is your go-to for the latest and best in games, movies, and television. And with over 50 million IGN subscribers, you're in good company. Thanks to your help, we've raised over $100,000 for charity.
Блин, что там за Walking Dead был? Я тоже не понимаю. Я что-то не понял. Это что за Walking Dead был? Это же не Telltale'ский. Это какой-то новый совершенно.
You voted almost 30 million times in our best video game of all time and Super Movie Madness tournaments and posted over 40 million times on IGN's message boards. The chat must flow.
Блин, да что такое? Я что-то вообще не понял вообще совершенно. Это серьезно, The Walking Dead новый.
Plus, IGN guides to get help on veritably any game from our team of experts. No matter where you are, IGN.com, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, IGN has you covered.
I'm Akeem Lawanson, and this is What to Watch on IGN1. It's a weekly show where we check out the latest trailers, reviews, and everything else in the world of entertainment. Tune in to new episodes every Friday at 9 p.m.
Я Димон Картавый.
Блин, ну короче, я прокакал новый The Walking Dead какой-то. Я не понял просто, что не показали. Это что было странное совершенно.
Tracking everything coming to Switch with Nintendo Voice Chat or catching up on this week's gaming news with GameScoop, we've got you covered. Check it out. Tune in every weekday at 5
Сука, в новостях нигде еще нет.
right here on IGN1.
Назови его новой перезагрузкой франшизы. Ну просто это так было странно, конечно. Бля, как обидно. Я что-то не понял, я просто думал, что это, я вначале подумал, что реально. Оказывается, реально, The Walking Dead новый анонсировали, с ума сойти. Блять, ты, сука, покажите The Walking Dead новый. Я хочу понять, что это такое.
All right, now you just got to look at what's coming to Aliens Fireteam Elite, and join me right now to break down what gamers can expect.
Думаю, надо покакать, пока
Cold
сходить.
Iron Studios, Craig Zinkovich. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Вот.
I'm doing fantastic.
Через
I'm talking,
у нас
games
45
with you.
минут
Anytime we
будет
talk about games,
эксклюзиву
I'm
Epic
super
Games
excited. Now, we're gonna
показать.
dive a lot
Этот
deeper
стрим я,
into
наверное, завершу.
what we just saw, but
И
give us a
это.
basic overview of the Pathogen expansion.
So Pathogen expansion is the
Посмотрим
first
на...
paid expansion for Aliens Fireteam.
Короче,
It comes with tons of stuff. It's got a brand new campaign that takes place right after the 4 campaigns that are in the base game. Carries on the storyline of the crew of the Endeavor. It's got new abilities and powers for each of the kits. It got new weapons, new enemies, new cosmetics, tons of new stuff. And it all comes with a free hardcore mode as well.
Ooh, wow. Now that was actually one of the questions we were going to ask you before, but I kind of want to talk about it right now. Tell us about the hardcore mode.
So hardcore mode is awesome. Aliens Fireteam Elite is not for the faint of heart. Obviously, there's the normal difficulty. There's casual difficulty for people who just want to get in and experience the story. But it's a survival co-op shooter. It's Colonial Marines. It's Xenomorphs. You've got to be on your toes. And one of the things that we've been working on is the hardcore mode, which is it's permadeath. It's permadeath for the game. You start a character, you get as far as you can. If you die, it's over. You get to keep your unlocks, you get to keep your currency, so you can buy those weapons that maybe you earned with that previous Marine. But every time you die, you got to start over. Each mission that you play, you open up harder difficulties, and you can see whether or not you can get all the way up to hardcore 50 without having died. So it's a pretty exciting permadeath mode for the game.
Oh my goodness. It's going to take a lot of training for anyone to get to that, I'm assuming. Like to get to 50, level 50?
Definitely. 50 is crazy. Currently, we have difficulty levels that go up to insane in the normal game. Hardcore 50 is even harder than insane. It's going to be really, really difficult not to take a full, very coordinated fire team group of your friends in there and still not get annihilated.
Now, the Season 3 Lancer went live back in April.
Yep.
Now, bringing with it, of course, like a bunch of free additional content. We're talking about a new class kit, loadout presets, challenge cards. How do you think this new expansion will complement or enhance what you and the team's done previously?
Oh, sure. So since August, since we launched the game, we've been working on it. Yeah, as you said, Season 3 came out in April. We had Season 1, Season 2. We've added multiple new class kits, a lot of new content, systems, quality of life features to the game. Season 4 is even coming out in July before the expansion comes out. We haven't announced everything that's in there, but crossplay is going to be in there. Looking forward to getting that out, letting people team a little bit easier before we get the DLC in August. And all of that leads up to the new content, to the new storylines. Obviously, the expansion also has tons of new weapons, tons of new attachments. The expansion also has new, perks, new power replacing perks, which are basically abilities for each of the classes that we've launched since. So really, this year has been kind of building up all of those new additional things so that the expansion can be that, capper right at the end.
That's so awesome to hear that, before we even get this expansion that we're going to get another season. That's so great to hear. Now, so Aliens Fireteam Elite has been out for about almost a year, about 9 months. What have you and the team learned in this time that's led up to this new DLC release? Like, what are fans saying?
Oh, I think that the core fan base really, really likes what we're doing, but they just want a whole lot more. And that's what we're trying to do as much as possible. Small indie Cold Iron studios here working on such a hit game. It's such a fantastic honor to be doing this, and the whole team is working as hard as we can. So, like as I said, season after season, adding new things to the game, making sure that crossplay gets in there, which is one of the things that the fans have been asking for. And then the cherry on top is more story content. They love the characters that we created, the crew of the Endeavor. They want to see what happens on LV-895 after you've destroyed the Katanga. And so really being able to do that and provide that for the fan base is something we're super excited about.
And what I love is, because you and I talked about this off camera, is the fact that this takes place years after the movies, correct? Yep. So you're not beholden to, we're playing within the universe of Alien or Aliens or Aliens 3, where you all are creating a new, new lore I guess,
Sure.
would you say?
Yeah, it's a cooperation, obviously, with Disney and all of the other, extended universe properties, the novels, the comics, stuff like that. But it really is an honor. It really is a privilege to be able to kind of add things to this universe that we're just amazing fans of. And so it's a labor of love for us to be able to play in this universe, and we take that responsibility extremely seriously.
Now, Craig, we're gonna queue up some video for you to kind of just walk us through.
Cool.
But before we get to that, can you give us a breakdown of some of the new weapons we can expect to see with this DLC?
Tons of new weapons in the pathogen. One of the things that I'm really excited about, we added a new weapon manufacturer, Alpha Tech. It's one of those things that is in kind of the extended universe. The lore shows up in like older comic books and some other games. But kind of expanding on that, there are a bunch of weapons from Alpha Tech that we're adding to the game. I think one of my favorites is there's an SMG that acts like a shotgun, and so it's like the fastest firing shotgun possible. That's kind of the dev team right now is having a really good time using that.
That sounds freaking amazing. Now, okay, Craig, so booting up the game, what are players going to immediately notice pertaining to the pathogen update? Like, is it just new content, or will we see like any new unique weapons, aliens, or system overhauls?
Sure. So the expansion comes with, pretty much a gamut of everything. Not only does it come with a brand new campaign that has new maps, new storylines, new locations, new enemies that show up in there, it also comes with, new weapons, loads of new rewards for the players to earn. So, dozens and dozens of challenge cards, weapon colorways, kit skins, hats, decals for your weapons. Tons of stuff that's going to show up in there. And then hardcore is going to be there for everybody, whether or not you've bought the expansion or not.
Woo, wow. Okay, now tell us a little bit more about the campaign. Like, have you guys like revealed like how extensive it'll be? Like, how many hours would it take for someone to complete? You don't have to specifically say how many hours.
Sure, it's hard with a co-op survival shooter game.
Yep.
It depends on what difficulty level. If you're going in casual, you're going to just take your time and kind of enjoy the storyline. But if you're going to play anything normal or higher, there are going to be deaths involved. It's going to be pretty difficult until your team gets to the point where you can get through there. So counting hours is a little bit more difficult. But it adds a whole nother campaign, 3 new missions. There are 4 campaigns in the game right now, so you can kind of, mileage may vary whether or not you're playing extreme, insane, or casual to see how long it takes you to get through all that cool storylines. But there are a lot of cool new mechanics in the new missions where adds more replayability. There's places where the map topography, the paths that you take through the maps changes each time. So I think that there's some new things in there that adds to the replayability that the base game has with the challenge cards and the difficulty levels and everything else as well.
Now we talked about this off camera. Like we're both huge sci-fi nerds. I can say that. I can say that as a nerd. I can say we're nerds. So I kind of want to talk more about what this is based on. You all are introducing new storylines to the Alien universe with this expansion. What is it about the franchise overall do you think makes it so unique and prime for such exploration in the Aliens narrative and lore?
I mean, it's just such a storied franchise. It is, if you look back, it really is the first. It's really the first Space Marine story. That's Aliens, right? I think that there's the typical fear of the darkness in space, right? And Alien captures that in that core, horror aspect of it. And then Aliens just kicked it up a notch with the action movie aspect of it, bringing the military out there, and still space and the universe is terribly scary. And there's just so many storylines since then, all of the comics, all of the novels, all of the different action figures and whatnot that have come out that just really captures the fans, and our dev team's imagination into what this universe can do and kind of the tropes and storylines that can be told there.
Yes, we talked about this off camera. We did a lot of talking off camera, and it's
hard not to.
I keep saying that. Yeah, of course. I mean, like, again, when you're talking about something that that you're truly passionate about, you're gonna want to ramble about it even before these cameras turn on, and that's exactly what we did. I know the game is still fresh, it's still new, not even a full year just yet. But I'm already, again, because it's the fan in me, I'm already hoping that we see the Predator at some point. Alien versus Predator. You don't have to say anything, Craig. Do not say anything. We have his entire team right over here, so
nobody's gonna let me say a thing.
Anything. Yes. Now I got to say this. What I love about this game is in relation to the movies, it doesn't just reference the Aliens films, but the prequel as well, Prometheus, which is a great way to introduce us to a different type of enemy in the universe created by the movies. What can you tell us about the pathogen brute and other enemies of that sort?
Sure. So, I mean, the pathogen is the thing that showed up in Prometheus, right? It's that black goo, it's the mutagen. And in the base game, there are a few pathogen enemies that you run into. You run into the black goo. You run into humans that were turned into husks because of the black goo. In pathogen, xenomorphs got into it, right? So you can imagine what these mutations do to the apex predator of the universe, perfecting, corrupting them. And so the brute is one of the new enemies, a bunch of new enemies within the game that show up within the pathogen expansion. And the brute is what happens if a drone or a warrior kind of gets exposed to this and becomes this hulking beast that you just have to really, really fear.
Yeah, and we won't have to imagine what that'll look like for too long because the DLC is dropping August 30th.
August
correct?
30th, yep.
Yes, August 30th. Thanks to Craig for giving us the lowdown on the new DLC release for Aliens Fireteam Elite. Now, the game's out right now, so y'all should be playing it, and you can catch the DLC come August 30th.
Картавый мудак, сука. Куда съебался, сука? Ара, блин. Съебунькал куда-то. Амахасла. Дебик. Вернись.